Night passed, dawn rose, and with the new day came a baffling new development.
What the hell? What is the meaning of this?
This is the stolen painting, isn't it? Why is it here?
I wish I knew. If it's come back here, then there's a chance it's false.
The handwriting used to inscribe the date on the back is the same as the original. There is no mistaking this to be anything other than the true painting.
So he stole it and then brought it back the next day? The act confused me all the more. The painting of Queen Victoria had been promptly returned to the mansion by an unnamed sender.
Lupin Jr. returning something stolen is unheard of. What's next? Will London's pigs sprout wings and fly?
Now that's a funny thought, Inspector. Everyone knows pigs can't fly.
It's a figure of speech, you idiot!
I shall awaken the noble form of Her Majesty from her restful sleep. Was he lying in his notice then? That wasn't right. A person so captivated by his own methods of thievery would never retract a declaration. Or could it be he was after something else? But we don't have anything else with Her Majesty's face. I inspected the portrait closely now that it was back in its original position in the hall. Nothing appeared damaged or altered, except for what was around the portrait. The photograph's gone! I was wondering if you took that.
Photograph? You don't mean the one of the lady and lord?
Yes! It was here just yesterday. I'm certain of it. And this tablecloth has the faint scent of perfume lingering on it, too. The scent wafted to my nose. To think it was only the night before when I last smelled this and last saw that curiously regretful face.
I'm sorry to put you through this, Emily. No doubt you won't forgive me for this theft, but for my own end, I must carry the burden of being cruel.
Could it be? Was the photograph his target? Probably the person we're looking for is in that photograph. Or there's like some connection to Spellbound in that photograph and that's why he stole it. But why? For what reason would a thief go to such lengths? No, this isn't the time to be pondering why. He's stolen a valuable clue in the mystery behind my parents' murders. I must retrieve it, no matter what it takes. It was another several days before Lupin issued his next declaration. The target would be the much-rumored Holy Grail of Arthurian legend, a golden cup and noted subject over the nobility's tea parties in the past. Oh yeah, the Holy Grail. We just talked about that, the last tea party. Though I had no connection to this particular treasure, I decided that wherever he was to go, I was to lie in wait to recover my photograph.
If I were to venture a guess, Miss Whiteley, you intend to capture Lupin before I can. I'd have hoped you understood by now that overestimating your capabilities leads to ruin, but I'll tell you myself if I must. Be sensible and stay away.
I'm doing no such thing! I just want my photograph returned to me.
You've not made the erroneous judgment of assuming Lupin a true gentleman, have you? He's a criminal. Surprise attacks are just one of the many means he employs. The one who catches him in the end will be me, not you. Stay out of this. Watson, come with me.
But...
Come on, Holmes! And off he goes. He could have waited. He's not been himself, Emily. You remember when we were outsmarted during the case with the earrings and necklace? It sparked a fire under him ever since. It isn't as if he means to be rude to you, so just know you haven't done anything wrong. That said, I do agree with his intent. I'd rather you were more careful with yourself. You're a young lady.
And a detective, as it seems we've all forgotten.
I know you are, but consider how violence against women has been on the rise of late. It wouldn't be right for you to wander into town alone, would it? Not when something terrible could happen.
That was the last of his point before he turned heel to join Holmes.
Hello, Miss Whiteley.
Lupin! How long have you been standing there?
The entire time, as it happens, and I wanted to say something. I wasn't of any help to you during the theft. I know I've said it before, but I'm truly sorry.
It was one of a string of apologies from him, and his guilt became mine. You have nothing to apologize for, Lupin. If even Pendleton fell victim to one of his tricks, then I doubt many could get the better of him.
I can't be as bold as Holmes can, and I'm not as thoughtful as Watson. I'm useless in every possible meaning of the word.
Lupin wasn't one for confidence, but his contempt for an event that was, by all accounts, out of his control was greater than normal. I don't want him to think such things. He's far from worthless in my eyes. He just needs someone to lift his spirits a bit. You aren't! In truth, there's a favor I should like to ask of you. If there was any request that would give him long due confidence, it would be asking him to escort me to the scene of the gentleman thief's next crime. He did respond with vehement reluctance in the beginning, his usual stammering and quivering, but after further explaining, he agreed to join me. Convenient. I hadn't meant to keep you standing here for so long, Lupin. Sneaking out of the mansion without Pendleton noticing proved to be rather difficult, I must admit.
I don't mind, but... Oh dear! You didn't ask Pendleton?
I would gladly ask if you were the type to say yes, but I know well enough that he would forbid it. I left him a note, of course, telling him exactly where we'll be going. All is well.
I see now why he's so strict with you.
All right, come! The Earl's mansion is near St. Luke's on the other side of the Thames.
Of course. It's getting dark, so we should be quick about it. If we don't arrive before the declared time, that might pose a bit of a problem.
An excellent thought, and I shall count on you to show me the way. You know London much better than myself after living here longer. Indeed, he showed distinct familiarity with the streets down to their back alleys. Bit by bit, he navigated through clean or dingy, thin and wide, tall and small areas that would have been incomprehensible to me. Though he moved swiftly, whatever the cleanliness or size, he often turned to me, a glint of concern in his eyes, to see if I was maneuvering with similar speed. But it was not without incident. In a space that was remarkably dirty, remarkably narrow, and remarkably ominous, waited 3 remarkably frightening men. Well, how remarkable.
Well, hello there. You certainly got a pretty face to go with your riches, miss.
There was a hungriness about him, the wideness of his grin that struck me with a horrible dread.
My good man, first with that maid and now a gal with deep pockets. About time you get a whiff for the finer things.
I think we should go another way, Miss Whiteley.
Yes, we should. As he turned to exit the alley, so did I. I guess they're not intimidated by Lupin.
Oh, miss, you can't join us for a bit of fun? We don't mean no harm. Your gentleman friend will get the boot, too. Ah!
Lupin! The man balled his fist and sent it to Lupin's cheek, slamming him against the ground before he could realize what was happening. I tried to run to him. Really, I did.
All right, milady. That's the sort of lingo you wealthy all-wise use, I imagine. Be a good gal and come along. Ha ha ha!
I was soon pinioned by 2 of the men and my arms wrenched at their freedom. Fear became a fragrance in the form of the alcohol and medicine coming from their breath. I could have choked on it. The more I struggled to break free at the wrist, the tighter the grip upon me felt. Let me go! Let me go! Oh, Lupin! Lupin, get up!
Bah! Keep yourself still!
Ah! After a short, sharp plosive sound, I felt a warm ache in my cheek. How rude. This ache from being slapped made its way to the back of my head, down my neck and through my body, paralyzing me.
Miss Whiteley! Gah!
Easy, chap. We ain't gonna kill her. We just want to taste a real sweet bit of jam, so no need for your blood to go on up. You look every bit the sissy, but you tolerate a good thrashing like a man. I shall fancy myself a real boxer then.
Whenever Lupin tried to move, he was struck without mercy. He stood. He was struck. He stood again and was struck again. He did so even when he barely could, and the man, full of wild, horrid energy, knocked him against the ground. Man, he's really committing to the Lupin rule. Every blow caused my chest to tighten and the breath to be stopped in my throat. Lupin! Stop it! Please, stop hurting him!
You do have a fondness for orders. Let me go, don't hurt the chap. You that dear?
I beg you, let her go! Please!
Huh? You hear something? I ain't heard anything, and I ain't deaf. So get on with it now. Leave him so we can have our fun with her.
No! When Lupin could no longer move, this third man assisted his comrades. I had been rooted, frozen by a circumstance by which escape was made impossible. They were close, and they drew closer by the second. Just run, I wanted to scream at myself. Just run, run, run! Anywhere is better. But my body was denied movement. The inside of my mind went white. When I felt the touch of fingers against my collar, however, I opened my mouth and cried the loudest scream I could muster. Ah!
What are you? Gah!
What's a... Ah!
And they, too, cried out ugly groans of agony. I felt the man let go of my collar.
Cards? Jesus Christ, who are...
My arms were free, but I'd been thrown to the ground. What was this? What happened? The sight of several blood-stained items strewn along the ground caught my attention. Playing cards. To these cards did the men clutch their arms and necks. They now bore thin lines, upon first sight invisible, and in seconds deepening with red as blood tided to the surface. In this moment, they were focused to one spot. Man, using playing cards as weapons, that's incredible. Lupin?
There are few crimes worse than that of sullying what is beautiful.
Oh, he's revealed himself for his girl! It's the time. Lupin? They were fixed upon him, expressions bulging in terror as he now stood unbothered by his injuries. Lupin, conversely, displayed none of his usual meekness or inclination to hesitate. His face was so grim that I nearly thought someone else had come to the scene.
Get out of my sight.
The tone was unnatural coming from his mouth, deep and overbearing.
I told you, there ain't no need for your blood to go up.
Shut up! You're gonna get us killed! Let's get out of here! So they fled the alley without so much as a final glance. Now only two remained. Lupin! You're... I knew the man who stood before me. His hair was disheveled, his cheeks swollen, and his glare cold, but I saw through those. Only one man would make cards weapons. Only one man would speak of beauty the way he did. Lupin, are you?
Did they hurt you at all, Miss Whiteley?
He turned so I could no longer see his face. No. I'm all right, but what about you?
I fear I can no longer stay at your side. I slumbered within my own castle of thorns, you see. And you, Prince Charming, have come to wake me. Yet I don't wish to see you hurt by those thorns. Farewell, Emily.
Wait! Wait, Lupin! He behaved as though I never said anything. My shouting became in vain as he disappeared into the evening. Is there like a Jekyll Mr. Hyde thing going on with you? Like, are you not cognizant of your two sides? That would be really interesting. I was now alone, left behind with only my heart to race and mind to run rampant. The friend I adored and the enigma with whom I held a grudge were one and the same. How could the Lupin I've been schoolmates with, how could he be the gentleman thief? There was little more I could do but watch where he last stood. Night arrived. Lupin, dressed for his work, stood with a man who knew both of his faces. This was no antagonist, but in some manner both an irritant and a fellow he trusted wholeheartedly.
Well, care to provide an explanation?
Whoa! Are you dead? Are you dead? Is this Dad Lupin? Oh my god, is this real life? Also, this is gorgeous. Where are we?
Women, as I've taught you, are to be treated with the utmost insincerity, yes. But some secrets are best left unsaid.
I am in no mood for one of your lectures tonight, Papa. Yes! Yes! Papa! We finally meet Papa! In Lupin's possession was the golden cup of his declaration.
But I must. You've chosen the girl over your most secret of secrets. Have you taken to becoming her knight in shining armor?
No. In my own way, I am still a gentleman thief with your blood.
Then I have a question for you, thief. Why did you return the portrait?
Is there a problem with me doing so?
Must my lessons be for nothing? Where in my world of thievery did I hint at returns? You are my successor, child. Do not forget that.
I don't need reminding. I know what I am. An elusive gentleman thief who never lets his target escape. But know, Papa, that I have my way, just as you have yours. I would rather you not interfere with how I do things. I'm a thief of elegance, and I become less so when you question me at every turn.
You look so proud of him.
Are you trying to provoke me?
Am I? If that's how you want to interpret it, then so be it.
Mon Dieu! You were once a splendid boy, and now your mouth runs faster than your feet. But I love it! Oh, how you radiate charm! You're like I was at your age.
I was only obedient because I didn't know any better. You refused to teach me anything but the life of a thief. I didn't want to take on the role of knight then. And certainly I radiated no charm taking blow after blow.
This dialogue between two criminals with the moon as its sole witness was done. We met Dad! I had my suspicions before entering Harrington for the day, but it wasn't possible to know for certain till I saw Lupin's desk. I was right. It was empty. Good morning, Mr. Mackenzie.
I've received word that Mr. Lupin will remain absent from class for a time.
Would it be possible to ask why, sir?
From what I've been told, he tripped on a staircase on his way home, spraining both of his ankles in the process.
Typical Lupin.
It's a preferable outcome to something much worse, fractures and the like. But if only I could have been injured in his place. It's horrible. Both of his ankles? That is awful, even for Lupin. I hope it isn't too serious.
Mr. Mackenzie, if I may, I should very much like to visit him.
I'm afraid you can't. I inquired about the subject myself, but I was told he wants no visitors whilst he recovers.
But...
Miss Whiteley, your attempt to meddle is nothing more than a nuisance. Would it be enough to simply respect Lupin's wishes and leave him be? Unless... Do you have some specific reason you want to see him that you would disregard his wishes?
Well... No response was fitting enough for this predicament. Yeah, like... Now her heart's invested, right? She's like, I really like John Lupin. But John Lupin is my enemy. But also, he returned that painting. But also, he saved my life. Oh, I needed to hear him say he was Lupin. If he was, then I would need to fight a friend to take back my photograph. Beyond those two needs, however, a feeling I wish I could have ignored dominated all. Unease.
I fear I can no longer stay at your side. I slumbered within my own castle of thorns, you see, and you, Prince Charming, have come to wake me. Yet I don't wish to see you hurt by those thorns. Farewell, Emily.
What if this meant I could never see him again? He's been a deceptive man all this time. He's stolen something precious, too, so I should be furious with him. Then why do I feel so sad when I see his empty chair? I could take no notice of lessons with such a vast hole in the room and epic violins in my ear. It's too much to bear. Is that the end? That was the end. Oh boy, things just got a little complicated. The warmth within closed eyes. Alright. The Metropolitan Police, Scotland Yard as it is also known, is the headquarters for the many young, bright-eyed officers who work daily to patrol London's streets. At its entrance was a comical sight. Sherlock Holmes, ever refined, and Inspector Lestrade pleading desperately for the detective's assistance. Why do you always show? You're so greedy. You come on all the routes.
May I ask, Holmes, what you think of Lupin Jr.'s crimes to date? They're bold, and meticulous at every step, always in accordance with how he alone would do things and no other. It is a pity that his victims put forth so much effort when it is pointless against a fellow as crafty as he. They may as well leave his desirables at their doorsteps for all the good security will do. There's no need to be so cold.
You've gone toe-to-toe with Arsène Lupin, haven't you? I don't understand how you think nothing of his successor creating chaos all across London.
More little than nothing, but I fear I have my hands full at present.
Oh, even I can see that. You have your walking stick in one hand and your pipe in the other.
Just so. But this does mean I have no more of myself to spare. I must take care lest I lose my precious pipe. Wouldn't want that now. On the other hand, my son appears to have special interest in Lupin Jr. Perhaps it's best you speak with him. Pooh! Oh, how considerate you are! I am moved to tears by the bond between father and son.
Yes, sir. Crying? Why, I never thought I'd see the day.
That was derisive, you idiot! Don't take everything I say literally! The photograph stolen from the Whiteley mansion depicts Her Majesty, Miss Whiteley's parents, and their friends. The portrait, under ordinary circumstances, would be more tempting, so why did he go so far as to steal both to disguise the lesser prize?
No! Don't leaf through those records so carelessly. I just finished getting them in order.
Oh, pardon me, Ryan. Even with my hands full, I still can't resist a case, I suppose.
Literally the worst. Several weeks came and went with no sign of Lupin. My focus dropped splendidly in this time. Were the men I knew one and the same? Where did Lupin take the photograph? Studies became plagued and with questions I could not answer, and rather than dismiss them, my mind kneaded them again and again in an endless loop. Until the nation was once more set into hysteria by a new declaration. The gentleman thief wrote in his usual flourish that his next target would be a pure variety of aquamarine known as Santa Maria. A researcher of distinguished celebrity was in possession of the gemstone he penned, which would soon, if all went as intended, be quite out of his possession. It was rumored to be in a research facility within Cheddar Gorge, located far west of London. At this rate, I'm never going to find him or my photograph. I can't let this chance pass me by. Holmes and Watson were to visit the facility at the request of Scotland Yard, and they saw no reason not to allow me to come with them. Nice. Thanks, guys. The facility, as I'd heard it, held a reputation as a modern aquarium, with its rooms hosting massive tanks full of life. Were we not there for a case, I may have wanted to visit it just to gaze at the many vibrant fish and aquatic plants.
Wow! Look at them all swimming around! What a beautiful sight!
Ah, there's our Disney princess.
We didn't come here for recreation, Watson. And have you forgotten? These things you claim are so beautiful are half your fish and chips. You've seen them plenty of times over the years. On your plate.
Now that's a low blow, and doubly so because I had just happened to have fish and chips for lunch today. And now I feel guilty. It's rather difficult to enjoy the view when you think of it all as food.
Oh, to see the world through your superior pragmatism, Holmes.
With the distance between London and the Gorge being so great, it was only natural Pendleton would be with me.
Ha 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 ha! Apologies, my boy, but you'll likely have no role to play this time.
Good afternoon. You sound awfully confident. Of course he is. The gemstone has been hidden somewhere Lupin would never dream of searching, and only the inspector and I know of it.
The sergeant stood boldly upright whilst he fixed his sleeves, a smirk crooked at such a comical angle that nothing could straighten it. I did notice the fabric at his elbows was a bit damp, but I kept that to myself.
Ask as much as you please, but our lips are sealed to all.
And we've learned to use more than a simple substitute for this one. If he tries to move the false gem even slightly, a cage will fall from the ceiling and trap him where he stands.
And were you permitted to build such an elaborate thing in a facility that isn't yours? Permitted? They were happy to let us. And once our foolish thief finds himself with nowhere to go, it's a one-way ticket to the cell for him.
But it's difficult to imagine him falling for such a trap.
Well, even if he doesn't, he won't be getting his hands on the Santa Maria. Not this time.
And how can we guarantee this? By making secrecy absolutely paramount to our operation. Not a word of its true location shall pass these lips. After all, one of you could be the gentleman thief in disguise. Like you, for instance.
So here we go again. In the same manner as before, Ryan thrust his arm forwards and pointed. Do I have to guess again? He was confident he knew precisely who the culprit was. The sergeant believed the thief to be disguised as none other than... He does have a liking towards Holmes. We never seen him dressed up as Watson, but he's definitely dressed up as Holmes in another lifetime.
You think I may be Lupin?
Holmes appeared calm in the face of this accusation. Holmes? As Lupin? They're both overconfident, but Holmes possesses a particular arrogance that is unique to him. It would be a trial for anyone to mimic his sarcasm so faithfully.
I should hope that face isn't one of musing insults to my character, Miss Whiteley.
Of course not!
I'm sure. Now I wish to know your reasoning behind this conclusion, Ryan. That's simple! I'm going with my gut. What? That's it?
You blasted fool! Try to come up with something that has a hint of merit before you point the finger!
One's gut instinct is not to be dismissed, Inspector. It can be a valuable resource in our line of work.
Wait! You agree with him? Then does this mean...
Lest there be any misunderstanding, I am the real Holmes.
That sounds like something a fake Holmes would say.
If you are, then let me ask you something only he would know. Do you remember the day you spotted a cat on the windowsill of our flat during breakfast? Tell me what you did next. You were watching, Watson.
Holmes, who had yet to so much as twitch, appeared to be shaken by this news.
Come now, what's the answer? Did you drive it away? Ignore it?
I suspect the latter. Holmes wouldn't be interested in a cat. He does try to make friends with them, despite them always being like, meh, you're not Watson.
I fed it.
What? My surprise was genuine. Holmes managing to feed an animal was absurd, surely. He had such poor luck with them that I'd have sooner expected the cat to flee the moment it saw his face.
And you were so close too. You can't force it to take the food. You have to wait for it to come to you. Why am I being lectured on how to feed an animal by you? Is this at all relevant to what we're doing now? It was a sight to me, really. You don't make a habit of being friendly with people, much less animals, but you certainly made an effort with that stray.
Watson's enthusiasm when recounting the tale was only as much as Holmes's repugnance.
Chaff aside, this is good news. This here is the genuine Holmes. Well done, Watson. It was only natural you would prove my innocence. Well, this is a surprise. Compliment me any more and I might blush.
Actually, before we continue this, speaking of Lupine and stuff, how are we doing? An A and a full quilt of red. Alright, nice.
Now, my dear assistant, wouldn't it only be right if I were to prove your innocence in kind? Mine?
Holmes, now, why are you reaching for Watson's face? You aren't...
Oh!
Holmes spared no heart as he pulled on Watson's cheeks, who cried with the same level of enthusiasm he displayed in bliss. But is he only doing that because I did that to Lupine? So does that mean this is Lupine? I'm so sus.